All right, guys, welcome back to the hangar. So, getting rolling on the Bandit Models Diamond Back. So I started with the rudder. I didn't want to do a lot tonight. It's kind of late, so I just want to do something simple. It's pretty straightforward. I did swap out rods. There's nothing wrong with theirs, but it's not as strong as the titanium ones I have. And like I said, these I've just had for, I've got tons of rods, and it's actually it's probably, so the way I looked at it, and I don't know, I might switch back to this just because, sorry for the video in here, but I might switch back to this because when you use the longer rod, you flip the servo over and it's here. And versus being here, and I always rather have a shorter one. The servo, it depends on what servos you use as well. I don't know what they designed this for, but I wish they wouldn't. That's kind of one of the things that I don't particularly like, is when they pre-cut this, because every servo is a little different, and it's just easier to cut your own. So with what they had done, I had to take and put, because it comes in, the servo just pushes against the ply here, and then you put 4 screws in. I took some, they're like these guys right here. They're carbon fiber, you know, these little things here, and it's just, they use these on helis to kind of, you put the servo in, then you put this across the top of the servo, and you put your screw in. That's what holds it. So I use them for various things like that and other things. So I just essentially took 2 of these, cut them in 2, drilled the holes a little bit bigger for the screws, and put those between the servo and the wood to push the servo down, so it would prevent having to cut so much up here. So the servo arm's almost centered. I had to trim a little over here just to get the servo arm out, and you can kind of see it there. But it's going to have a little bit right there. You can see how it pushes down. So I'm going to have to, see, I don't like that. You end up having these really big ugly holes, and you could go with a longer arm, but that's not the way to do it. You go longer arm here and you're short here, it's a reverse mechanical advantage. It kind of works against you. So and this is a pretty long servo arm. This is let's see here what I got here. Yeah, that's about 1.5 inches or 1.25 inches. Let's see here. So no, it's 1 inch. Okay, so it's an inch long, and I'm in the outer hole, so I don't really have anything longer to use. I mean, I could use these crazy 3D things, but I don't even have one of these. Let's see what these are. Same thing, 1 inch. Okay, so yeah, so essentially what you have to do when you do double ball links like this, I'm gonna have to cut here and back here a little bit, depending on how much throw. You know, it don't need much. Yeah, it just pushes and flexes down a little bit there and in the back, so I'll have to kind of do like a little dog bone. It just sucks because that's such a big opening, but you know, that's how you got to do it, unless you use a really long servo arm. So yeah, it's very simple. 4 screws, you kind of see them in there, easy to get to. I do like the fact that they push the servo this way instead of just doing it centered. So that's kind of a good thing. Most companies will just center the servo, and then you got to have an even longer servo arm to get it out past the skin. So they pushed it over more, and I almost, you know, it's almost tempting. Nah, there's not much room, but if it was a little further over, it'd make it even better. But the fact that they shifted it to the side of the opening is a good thing, so that's a plus. And like I said, every servo is a little different, but yeah, that's all it is. So you got this M3 metric screw with a washer lock nut, M3 screw I'm going to put a washer so if it does happen to pop off, it doesn't come off the actual arm. And that'll be it. Something fairly simple. And it is a, like I said, there's your rod. So what I'll have to do is to put something over that to keep it from coming down, maybe just a piece of tape. I mean, it's only going to come down so far before it starts rubbing the jet, so just to kind of keep it in there, I'll just put a little piece of tape over it. Alrighty, well that's it for the rudder. Real quick, short little video. That's what you're looking at. And I like these because you just turn the turnbuckle and you can lengthen or shorten as needed. So I just simply use my little servo tester here, went to the centering mode, put the arm on there, tighten it down, and then get it as close to center as possible. And then instead of having to put sub trim in, and because it's pretty close, like right there is where it's set. So honestly, it needs to come this way, just a couple clicks. So what I'll do is I'll probably sub trim it to about right there, and then I'll just lengthen this just a hair. I got plenty of threads. So that's it. Elevators are the same way. Looks like they did the same thing, pushed the, actually this one's actually centered, so they didn't push it one side or the other. So it's going to be even more to cut out on this one, I bet. That being said, it's on the bottom. You know, you don't see it as much, but it's, you know, based on their hardware package, their two rods, their ball links, the same screws, and same hardware as this. You just double it, and the actual rods are shorter. And I'll probably swap these out too. Yeah, and like I mentioned before, you can kind of see it here, is the might be better on this one. No, can't see it on that one. So instead of having, like, because it's hinged on the bottom or the top here, so if you go, you can see there that you got to go like way more travel than you're going to need before you actually start getting a gap. So normal travel, you're never going to come out of that channel, so it kind of seals the gap on the hinge, which is nice. And they've basically, you know, bent it down, so that's not easy to do. A lot of times they'll do like a plastic piece, but this looks molded. So, but yeah, so I'll do these tomorrow. Just a little quick video. It's pretty straightforward. These things are solid, man. Pretty good layup on this so far. Paint looks really good. A couple places, you know, when I'm guessing they paint them in the mold on these. Don't quote me on that. I don't know, but nothing significant. But yeah, that's kind of like one recommendation. I'm gonna call. I'll talk to the designer and like, hey, you might want to just give them tips. You know, that's what I always try to do. I try to give, you know, there's things that I do typically just because of the type, you know, what I like, and then there's a screw hole. So you must actually use a screw on the inside of the rudder. So it looks like, oh, I just noticed that, sorry. Yeah, so there's no side screw here to clamp down on the post. You slide it in, and I guess you come in from the bottom here, and you put a screw up. So you have to tighten it from inside the fuselage. So the rudder isn't really going to be removable like these are. So, but it's not a tall rudder, so it only sticks up to about right here. So it shouldn't be an issue. I mean, it's not an issue for me, but for those who are wondering, you do run a screw in from inside the fuselage out into the rudder to hold it down. So, yeah, but it is removable right here. So, and from what I saw, the pipe, you take the tail off, the pipe is still attached to the it attaches to the God, I can't talk tonight, to the engine mount. So it's not like you take the tail off and the pipe goes with it. You loosen, slide the tail off, the pipe's going to still be attached to the front section. So, all right. So we're rolling. I'll probably get all the servos in. This is going to go quick, guys. I mean, it really is. I mean, the hardest part's going to be putting the gear in and attaching the little doors to the gear and stuff like that. But I mean, it's super simple. It should be fairly quick, and it's, you know, not a lot to it, and you don't have to glue in any of the formers like you know, like some others. So, but you guys have a good one. I'm gonna call it a night. I gotta work tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, and I'm ready for a relaxing weekend. This will be the first weekend in like over 2 weeks since I've been able to chill out. So, but you guys have a good one, and don't forget to subscribe, thumbs up, tell your friends. Cheers.